President Trump offered millions of government workers the option to take buyouts and leave their positions, and they'll have to make a decision by tomorrow, Thursday, February 6th. And for those considering an early, forced, or otherwise unconventional retirement, we have David Stryzewski, who is the Sound Planning Group CEO, here with some advice. David, good to have you on the program with us. You have 7 steps all people should consider before retirement. So do these change at all if you're retiring early?
Well, there's 7 steps or 7 key areas financially that we need to be prepared. It doesn't matter what your age, what your retirement needs are. And so those steps are, number 1, we need to plan for income. Because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. One of the big issues right now is that if your outgo exceeds your income, your upkeep's going to be your downfall. So we got to know what that burn rate is. And that a real key to that is also what you're going to do with your Social Security. So as an investment strategy, that's number 2. And so the strategies of today are very important. Now, a lot of people are looking at their 401k. Do you know you can roll that over to an individual retirement account, get perhaps better ideas on that? And so that's a really important idea. But let's not forget about tax diversification in the midst of strategy diversification. The big opportunity right now, Tax Cuts and Jobs Act 2.0 is here. And ultimately, tax diversification is key. Roth IRAs, there's 101 different ways of doing this. We got healthcare planning, critical to do, get your Medicare right, your healthcare right. Big changes actually happen here in 2025 with that. And then we move into our step 5, which is real estate. We need to have a plan for real estate. We need to have an understanding for our primary residence, Section 121 deductions. We could sell and offset $250,000 per person as capital gains. That's a really great idea for a lot of people that are entering into retirement. And then estate planning. You got to get your legal components of this right. And then, of course, our ongoing review and evaluation process is critical. So I don't know what people are doing in all 7 of those categories, but I can tell you this much. Every single person that's looking at retirement has 3 things in mind. They want confidence in what they're doing, clarity to know what it is, and ultimately more control. And so we give that 7-step process, and that's our way of sharing it.
For anyone considering leaving the workforce in their 50s, or hey, and if you can, more power to you, or early 60s, what should they be considering?
Okay, well, there's a number of things that are very important, especially if you retire earlier than like age 65. Why? Medicare or your health care becomes very expensive to pay for on your own. And so, maybe you want to start a side hustle or something like that. There's a lot of ways to figure this out. But yes, we need to make a spending plan, which is so important. If your outgo exceeds your income, your upkeep will be your downfall. You got to also take control of your investments. And so, the portfolio that you would have in your 50s is potentially very different than the portfolio you'd have in your 70s. But if you're entering into retirement, actually they have more in common than you might think, because the goal here is that we ultimately need to create an income plan that is going to give us the most tax efficient withdrawal strategy. And so that is the key as people are looking before they leave.
What about individuals who want to save aggressively and potentially even retire in their 30s?
Yeah, well, this is a moving trend. And so a couple things that I would say to that group is, what are you going to refire to? And so if your why is big enough, you will sacrifice and live like nobody else today. That means saving more, spending less, not trying to keep up with the Joneses in order to put yourself in that position in the future. But you want to ultimately ask yourself, what are you trying to do? And what are you trying to accomplish? If you're trying to take money out of a 401k or an IRA and you're under the age of 59 and a half, that could be challenging unless you understand some of the rules. And so you just need to get this right. You got to set these things into motion at an early place, but you need to understand the diversification and ultimately the required rate of return that's going to take you in order to achieve that lifestyle that you're looking for and to ultimately accomplish those goals. So that high net worth person has a really exciting road in front of them, but they got some planning.
And finally, for wealthy individuals who don't need an annual salary, do you recommend retirement?
Well, there's a lot of people today, professionals, maybe in healthcare, usually key stakeholders that we see are working beyond maybe age 65 or something into their 70s. They have something to give back, so I think that people should do what makes them happy. If you have something to give back, like my father is an example, 71 years old, he's still giving back. My mom, 71 years old, still giving back. They could retire, but they choose to stay in the game because they get value from it. One thing I'll just note is that potentially for men, it's a little bit more challenging to make that transition from, hey, everyone says hi to you and looks up to you in the office, and then if you say you're not doing that role anymore and you just go home, maybe your wife doesn't respond the same way, kids don't respond the same way at home, and it feels a little different. So it could be a real culture shock as you go from the work life to that retirement. Every day is a Saturday, and this is my new people every day. And so I just think people should look before they leap. There's great books out there, great ways to prepare, but these 7 steps will help people as well.
David, thanks for taking the time here with us with the retirement tips. Appreciate it.